welcome back to today's lesson where we're going to be talking about the right way to ask for introductions to potential prospects from the connections that you currently have. Now, in the previous lesson, we discussed what to do if your profile gets restricted from sending requests to connect. Well, one of the ways that you can prevent that is by having a really high acceptance rate when you are sending people those requests to connect. And if you are using your current connections and, in a sense, name dropping in order to get the connection and to get the relationship started, then that in turn also helps increase your acceptance rate and prevents you from being quote unquote, restricted by LinkedIn. So let's go to LinkedIn dashboard right now and see how we ask your connections to introduce you to a potential prospect. Now here we are back on the LinkedIn dashboard. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and do a search. Now ideally you've already done your perfect prospect profile map and you know exactly who you're going after. Your profile is optimized so you look amazing because if your profile isn't really optimized, it's really your foundation. That's really going to affect all these other strategies that we're going over in this module and in subsequent modules. Because as soon as you send that request to connect or you even ask a connection for something, the first thing they're going to do is take a look at who you are and what you do. The more authoritative that you look, the more serious that you look about your business, and the more successful that you look, the more likely that people are going to want to talk to you, network with you, and do business with you. So assuming that you've obviously got all that stuff done, now let's go ahead and do a search. So let's say that I'm looking for marketing directors and I only want to focus on second degree connections, group members, and third degree. We don't want first degree connections because you're already connected to those people. So that's not new prospects. And let's say the location is United States and I want to go ahead and hit search. All right, so now let's say that this is my ideal prospect right here. So let's check out Thom real quick. And him and I have 45 shared connections, as you can see right here. So I can even just click on that and see all the connections that Thom and I share, which are all these people. So what I can do is I can actually ask any of these people to introduce me to Thom. Now there's two ways to go about this, and one way is better than the other. I'm going to start out with the way that I really don't recommend that you do, but it is something that you can do. It's not the best way. So what I can do here is in this little drop-down menu, I can say get introduced. So when I click on get introduced, I can click on any of these connections that I have and ask them to introduce me to Thom. Now, LinkedIn puts that automatically. That's a fine headline. I mean, it's very to the point. You can update this as well. I like to just leave it as is. And the next thing that you can ask Michael is, hey Michael, I noticed we're both connected to Thom. I'd really like to reach out to him for X, Y, and Z reason. Would you mind making an introduction? Now, the problem with this strategy is we're asking Michael to take time out of his day to introduce you to someone. So, Michael's busy, everybody's busy. Even if they love you and they think you're the greatest person in the world, it might slip through the cracks because whatever he's doing for his career or whatever he's got going on is obviously, more important than doing you a favor unless you guys are, super, super close. So a better strategy and one that yields better results. Now, of course, you can try this way, but if you don't get any result that way, what you can do is instead send Michael a message and say something along the lines of, and I've got the messaging templates here, which the messaging templates are in the workbook that is attached to this lesson, so make sure that you check those out as you're implementing this strategy. But what I want to do is I want to reach out, for example, to Michael, or let's say I'm going to reach out to Erica because she's connected to Thom, and I'm going to say the subject is the name of the person that you want to connect with. So I would put that here. In this case, it would be Thom, so I'm just going to do that as an example. And then his last name, McFadden. Okay. And I can say, hey, Erica, I noticed that you're connected to Thom McFadden. I'd like to reach out and connect with them. Do you mind if I mention your name when I reach out? Hope business is going well, and I look forward to hearing back from you soon. Short and sweet, to the point, And now you're not asking Erica to do anything, because she can say, yeah, it's fine, you can use my name. Now it's up to you to reach out to Thom and say, hey Thom, and I've got a message for this as well. So let me show you what that is. So now let's say we're ready to connect with Thom. Erica said that she's fine with dropping her name. So I'm going to go right click and open this connection. I'm going to say friend. And then I'm going to copy and paste this message here. So I'm going to say, hi Thom, I noticed we're both connected to Erica, who I've known for 25 years. Erica thought we would benefit from connecting, and so I am reaching out. Would love to chat sometime and learn more about your business. Do you have any time this or next week? So now he knows that, you know, I'm serious about talking. I'm not just sending this request to connect and it's going to just collect dust like most requests to connect do, or most first degree connections do on LinkedIn. And I can send that as a message and wait a few days and see whenever Thom gets back to me or accepts my request. Now, let's say, for example, that Erica said, no, you know, I really don't feel comfortable with you using my name, or I don't really know him that well, or she just never responded at all. There's another message that you can use in that situation in order to try to connect with this particular prospect and use the name dropping to help you out with the acceptance rate. So I can say, hi Thom, I saw that we're both connected to Erica and wanted to reach out. Your background is impressive and thought we would benefit from connecting, so I'm reaching out. I'd love to chat sometime and learn more about your business. Do you have any time this or next week? And that's it. So you always want to make sure as you're doing this that you're keeping track of all of your leads. We've given you the Excel sheet in a previous lesson, so make sure that you are tracking everybody that's accepting you, who you've sent messages to, and when. Now, not everybody's going to accept you, so if they don't accept you, then, you know, just move on to the next person. There's plenty of prospects on LinkedIn, so don't get too hung up on one person unless they're super valuable, and perhaps you want to try to reach out to them on a different social media platform where they might be more active, which is a lesson that we're going to talk about in the next video. So now what should you do? Well, do a search for your ideal prospects, and when you see prospects that share connections with you, go ahead and ask your connections if you can use their name, get an introduction, and then once you do, and that person accepts your request to connect, get that appointment and then earn your badge. Now we're out there generating leads and getting appointments and making sales. So go out there, take some action, and in the next lesson, we're going to talk about what to do when somebody that you really want to connect with is just not that active on LinkedIn, or you find a prospect that is the ideal person, but you can tell that they're never logging into LinkedIn because they've got like no photo and, you know, they've got like nothing filled out on their profile, or very little, or not that many connections, but you know it's somebody of authority. So that's what we're going to talk about in the next video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next lesson.